Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, David Brooks, powered by Contractor Rhino, your go-to source for all your digital marketing and accounting needs for the trades. For this episode, I do have a special guest with us, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Chad Prinky. I am the founder and CEO of Well Built Construction Consulting. We are really focused on the middle market of contractors out there, around the, 20 employees to 150 employees. Kind of encapsulates our most common range for general contractors, and then 80 and up typically for specialty contractors. And the majority of our clients are in the commercial space, and we help them to build and execute strategic business improvement plans that help them to go from where they are to where they're trying to go.
Excellent, excellent. Well, glad to have you on board for the episode.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
Mhm. So could you tell us how you actually got started and what inspired you to launch the company?
Sure. Yeah. So I used to be a sales management and sales trainer. I did that for a very small training company for about 12 or 13 years. And when I was there, I kind of built this unique business inside that business that was, here's the story. I mean, we were supposed to sell sales training, right? That was what we were supposed to sell, and I was really good at selling sales training. But the problem is, I don't think anybody wanted sales training. I think they wanted increased profitability at the end of the day. They were buying growth, which they were hoping would turn into profitability. And I could not get over the fact that selling them sales training was only one very small part of that solution. And so I was a bad employee, even though I was bringing in all the clients. I was not selling sales training, and I was selling sales training. But the truth is, I was really selling holistic business improvement, because sales growth, as any one of your listeners knows, growth causes problems.
Mm-hmm.
It solves some problems, but it creates others, right? And so I started to get really focused on what does it take to solve those problems. So I've been focused exclusively on the construction community since 2010, built thankfully a ton of great relationships. And somewhere around 2021, I said, it doesn't make sense to be at this sales training company anymore, and I left. I was inspired to really build a business that focused only on this. So it was just me, and I was like, I'm going to build a company around this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, and today we have 12 employees and growing. We're making a much greater impact than I used to, which is really exciting. So that's the story.
That's great. That's a great story and background information. How you got started and then how you pivoted. I always love to hear those COVID post stories.
Yeah, it was during COVID. It wasn't
Right.
really COVID related, but
Yeah.
to an extent. I'll put it this way, though: I hadn't had an in-person meeting with the owner of that company in a year. When I left, I was like, dude, I don't even know what this guy looks like anymore. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I was like, who is this dude? Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's good. So now you've ramped up the company, you have 12 people on board. Can you talk a little bit about your offering? And then, we could dig into a little bit of those offerings on separate topics.
Sure. Yeah. So first and foremost, really what people typically come to us to try to accomplish fits into one of five different buckets. One is they're trying to, and this is the most common, they're working too hard for too little money. They're not making enough profit. So they're coming to us to help them to figure out the solution to a profit problem. Number two, they're having a hard time attracting and retaining talent. So that they're struggling to keep their great people. They're struggling to find people. The construction industry is a highly competitive space for employees, and so if it's not profit, the number two is that it's talent. Number three is, and the rest of them kind of fall into this like and other, category. They're all about the same reason. If profit's number one and talent's a distant number two, the rest are a very distant number three, four, and five. But they're still pretty relevant in that they come to us because they don't have a succession plan. They come to us because they need to prepare a crop of future leaders, which kind of corresponds with that succession plan, if that makes sense. And then the last is that they're coming to us because they're trying to create a better culture. That's the only thing they want to work on, right? They just say we just want to build a happier workplace environment where people are committed to both each other and high performance. And so now what's funny is that succession and future leaders and culture and talent all usually roll back up to profit at the end of the day, right? And so that really is the number one reason that we get hired. And then what we do is the first thing we do is we start off with a full organizational discovery. What that means is we climb inside the business. We interview a ton of the people, not all the people, depending on the size of the company, but we interview a ton of the people. We talk to their clients. We talk to their subcontractors. We survey. We do a deep dive into their financials. We really it's it's pretty thorough. Every stone gets unturned in that environment, and what that allows us to do is to come back with a rough draft business plan. And then we say, all right, here's where you are across every part of your business, and based on where you said you are trying to go, these are the things that we recommend you do. Right. And so that's where we start, is with that discovery. And then once we come back with that set of recommendations, what's cool about our business is that we have the ability to advise on anything that's on that list. And we have the ability to do it for them if they just don't have time to mess with it. I actually just had a phone call earlier today where somebody was like, it's about 150 employee contractor. And, I was talking to the owner and they said, we don't have the time to get all of our employee reviews scheduled on the books. We don't have time to update the templates that we're using for this and getting it into our system. And we know that the employees are asking for reviews, and that's an important component. Like, we just don't have time to enact all this stuff. I was like, do you want me to just make it go away? Do you want me to make the problem go away? She was like, please, we just make the problem go away. I was like, yep, give me like 3 weeks. I'll make the problem go away. Right. That's what we build the strategic plan rooted in a thorough discovery on their business and in partnership. Right. I mean, obviously we don't make decisions for them. Right. But we make decisions with these companies about where they're trying to go. And then we're their partner in getting it done, man. No excuses. Let's rock and roll.
That's excellent. That's a really great overview spectrum of offering, bringing in that value and helping to untangle, those roadblocks that are in the way and giving them a sense of relief as like help is on the way to be able to help me unclog these things that are just in my path so I can free up more time. I can provide a better culture. I can have a better understanding of what's going on, what's the right path to move forward.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
It's amazing. So another area that I wanted to talk about too as well is that you have leadership listed down too as well as an offering. I would love to hear more about that initiative.
Yeah. So we do, pursuant to what I was talking about earlier, a lot of these companies. So here's the scenario that we like to create. It's a problem we create. Sorry. But it's a problem we create through that growth, is that, companies get bigger
Hmm.
more exciting as a result of the work that we're doing, which is cool. And but one of the things that has to happen as a result is they need to pump out more people who are capable of leading.
Hmm.
This is one of the biggest bottlenecks in a business. There are a lot of people in the construction industry who know construction. Well, not enough. Side note, not enough people who know construction, but there are more people who know construction than who know their trade or know their specific technical background than they do know how to lead people in that environment. And so they're not going to school for it. They're not getting that kind of education. There's not a lot of role models in it, and so at the end of the day, you need to lead teams if you're going to grow. And so what we've done is put together a quarterly program that we sell out pretty much every quarter, which is leadership readiness boot camp. And it's all about taking those high potential people that you want to step into leadership roles and getting them ready to do so, both at a sort of middle to upper level management role and executive roles. We do a 2 day leadership readiness and then a third day for executive readiness. And if you're going for executive readiness, you typically go for all 3 days. But that executive readiness is where we start to get into the nitty gritty, like how contractors make money, how to generate cash, how to prevent, disasters from occurring, how to fire somebody, all that stuff, right? How to hire, how to fire, how to, promote, how to all that type of jazz. It really kind of comes at that executive management level.
Amazing, amazing. I really love how you have that broken down into the event of here, day one, day two, and then day three. This is the creme de la creme, the icing on the cake to be
Yeah,
able
yeah, yeah.
to make it all come together with inside of the organization. And I think a lot of businesses, I think the problems that I've seen, especially just talking with people and having strategic partnerships on our side is they're getting themselves in a better position to be able to potentially grow and expand, and they may have a better sense of how to run things more efficiently. But what they don't have a grasp on is how do you bring people along with you and
That's
putting
right.
them in the right positions to win.
I think that's exactly right, and that's what we talk about. I wrote a book. It's called Well Built. It's what the top 2% of contractors are doing to drive superior profit, value, and excellence. Right. So what are they doing different from other folks? And they are all, without question, leadership development machines.
Hmm.
That's what they're amazing at. So if you're looking in your market and you're like, how do I get to be like X, whatever that company is, we all have them. Every market you're in the United States, right? I'm in the DC market. I could make the list, right? Rattle off like the top 30, 40 companies that everybody in this market kind of wants to be. And you should want to be these companies. Or more accurately, you talk shit about them. You say you don't want to be them, but you do want to be them. And that's the truth, right? Like that's what's going on. Anyway, those companies, they're leadership development machines, man. Like that's what they do. They create people. They create, and the only way that can be exciting for you is if you're also creating enough growth to offer those leaders. And so they're tied together, man. You got to create leaders. You got to create growth for those leaders. And not every contractor wants that, and that's okay. That's that. Just understand what you're signing up for is the creme de la creme in your business may be moving on.
Hmm.
That's true. I mean, think about it. The high potential people who want to see, they want to be up here someday, right? If they don't see that opportunity in your business, they're probably not going to be there long.
Hmm.
That's okay. You just got to get ready to lose them.
That's correct.
Part
That
of
is
it.
correct. And that's the part of building it up. And I think, some people they're nervous about that. Like, I don't want to give them everything or all the right tools that they need because it's like they want them to succeed, but don't want them to succeed. And so now they're stuck at that crossroad.
That's right. Yeah. Cool.
Now, as we're talking about, this strategic leadership, strategic consulting, be able to help these businesses flourish. Do you have any recent success stories that you could share?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I a whole bunch.
I know you have a bunch.
It's been, I mean, it's been a lot of
Yeah,
fun. Our
that's
clients are
funny.
really, I feel like, man, because like here at the end of the day, I mean, we're in the trenches with our clients, no doubt, but they're the ones living it every single day, right? We're just kind of like, we're there to pull them out of the trenches every now and again, dust them off, jump in and help where we can, but we're not living it day to day like they are. We're very lucky. We have really, really good companies, man, that we work with. I think we work with about 65 or 70 companies right now, which is it's not a ton. I've worked with 250 or so over the course of my career. That's also not a ton. Um, but I do feel like I've been very fortunate at the groups that I've worked with, and I say that as a preface to say whatever success story I'm about to share with you, just understand they did the work, right? Like these guys are awesome. So, but one immediate success story that jumps to mind, that there's one general contractor, commercial general contractor that we've been working with as a company for I guess 3 years. They were one of our first clients, early on when we started the business. I guess so, maybe coming up on 4 years. And when we first started working with them, they were making a net profit of around 1.25%, somewhere in that range, which as a general contractor in the commercial space is not brutal. I mean, it just sucks because it generally sucks.
Mhm.
That's about it's a little worse than average. That number, believe that or not, you think about a 1% on they were about an $80 million contractor. So, do the math. This year we just did their 2025 game plan, and 3 years in, they have just done incredible work to be the best company they can possibly be, and followed the game plan to a T. This year their net profit is the better part of 4.5%, which is a almost four times, three plus times improvement over the course of that time period. In addition to that, they've doubled the size of the business from about 80 million to 160 million, and on top of all of that, they've had almost no unwanted turnover in the past year, so their employee base is thrilled. And this, so that I'm just talking about results, but like, what did they do fundamentally? Um, the first thing they did was they fearlessly, um, I'll call it, edited their employee base to remove people that were working at cross purposes with the company.
Mhm.
If there's one skill that I would say like a leader doesn't ever promote, uh like they don't ever like put on their LinkedIn profile, but man, is it extremely useful, is like the ability to have to identify and remove, i.e. to fire people that aren't getting it done.
Yep.
Man, I'm telling you, it's rare. And these guys started off with it, and they've maintained it. They haven't been afraid to say that's not working and move on. They haven't been cruel. They've been very professional, but they haven't been afraid to say that nope, it's not a fit, and keep moving. And I think that is created a culture that people enjoy, because there is nothing worse, man, than being a kick ass member of the team and working next to somebody that's a joke.
Mhm.
Um, it's obvious, it's painful. I'm working next to somebody that's not carrying their water, and I got to carry both of our water.
Mhm.
That's not fair, right? And more often than not, that's happening.
Mhm.
So that's one. They've just been relentless in their pursuit of excellence in people, and fearless in their willingness to remove the wrong people from the equation. Another thing that they've done extremely well is they've figured out the handful of things that if everybody does the right way, everything works. So they do have comprehensive standard operating procedures, which they didn't, going back, like we've helped them develop all that. But more importantly than having comprehensive standard operating procedures, they actually stick with the handful of operating procedures that are crucial, and they really follow that to a T. So what that's enabled them to do is to get a consistent result, and it's also enabled them to hire and train people to be successful quickly. So, and I get like, man, I could keep going. I'm just the same things are true about dozens of the other companies that we work for. This one, or that we work with, but this one in particular, just as like I said, we started the business 2021. They joined probably toward the end of 2021, and it's extremely gratifying to see the momentous improvement in the business over the course of that time, and they are now primed to do whatever the heck they want to do. They're making tons of cash. And they have the ability to grow as much as they want to grow, or stay the same if they want to, or whatever else. So it's really putting. That's what it's about, man. At the end of the day, it's about options. It's about options. You want. I think you want to be able to create a business where you can decide what you want to do with it. The only way to do that is to have some money.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. If you don't have that element,
not a lot of options.
Not a lot
of
of
options, man. Yeah. What's our option? Make money. That's it. That's your. So if you're making money, you got options. If you're not making money, you're not. You don't have options. So that's why profit's the number one thing that people typically hire us for. Right? They're like, man, I'm working too hard and I'm not making enough money. And and to hire us, it's basically the same price as it is to hire an employee. It's not. It's the way that we're designed, man. We're not charging fees like Deloitte, or whatever else, like that kind of stuff. We're a small business and we're priced like a small business. We're and we know our market. We're trying to fit in with this small to mid-sized contractor market. Electrical contractors and masons and framers. Man, these guys don't have money, coming out of their socks. You gotta. We're a major line item for them, so we try to make that as affordable as we can. It's like if whatever you were going to budget to hire that project manager, that's about what we average, for those companies, and to be this sort of all-encompassing teammate to work on their business while they're working in it.
I love that, making it accessible, so that they can work on their business, and like you said, not where it's putting a strain on, to bring you guys on, and it's like, man, I really want to do it, but I just can't swing it, but you understand, right? So you at the end of the day, you're providing a value to them, and at the same time, they're seeing value in your services without being tone deaf in the room.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what we try. And smaller companies pay less, larger companies pay more, and it's just because of the amount of turf we have to cover inside those businesses. And there are companies that are really small, and we are like the biggest line item that they have. And it always worries me. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this, man? Like this is, but those are oftentimes our best customers because they're super committed to success. And that's cool to watch. That's fun to be around. And, if I'm going to hook somebody up on price, it's that guy, right? They deserve it. Yeah. So, yeah, we got, you want to hustle, you want to be one of the, you want to get to the top 2%, and you're currently in the bottom 20. Let's go. It's a long journey, but if you're hungry, we can get you there.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I love that. And I love the fact that it ranges, right? You small, medium, smaller, in there larger. But there's room for everybody at the table to be able to get some help.
There is. Yeah, and we are working on lower priced solutions for people who just want to like learn on their own, who want to just have like a little access to a coach, but they don't want to have like a whole package or a program, like that kind of stuff. And we're working on that but understand the thing that we're used to doing is saying, all right, you hire us, we're a part of your team. We're in the trenches with you. You're actually allowed to make a short list of competitors we can't work with, man. Like we're like you want to do it, we're doing it. Like that's how we roll with our customers, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
I think it's rare in our world, to play it like that. But it's also a large enough investment that we have 60 and not 6,000, or what, you know what I mean? 70 and not 7,000 clients. You know what I'm saying? So we're working on that because I'd like 7,000 myself. That'd be neat.
Mhm. No, I love that. When I saw that too, that not working with the competitors, and I thought that I said, man, that's really great, because they're getting so much more extra value and don't have to worry about the person down the street
Yeah.
getting the same type,
Now
thing.
it's not everybody. They make a
Yeah,
short list
yeah,
now.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you
right,
can't be
right,
like,
right.
you're working with me. You can't work with any other drywall
Yeah, yeah.
contractor in the country, right? Like, nah.
Right now, yeah.
No, you give me a
That's
list of
good
like three
practice.
to five names. I got your back. I won't work with them while we're working together. I'm not going to work with them. But it's also true that our clients tend to view us as long-term partners. So even though, like early on, we might work together, in this really, really comprehensive way where we're spending a ton of time together. And this company I was just talking to you about, maybe 2 years from now or something like that, we might be just seeing these guys once a quarter or something like that. You know what I mean? And just checking in and running like a strategy meeting and making sure that everything, like, maybe I'm just having a call with the CEO every now and again. You know what I mean? Like, we're still long-term partners with these folks, but our work changes over time.
No, that's really great model, to be able to have. And like you said, the needs will change over the course of time,
Yeah.
and they'll start to lessen, but you're still there as that strategic partner to be able to help make sure things keep moving along, everything's on the right track, and nothing digresses.
That's and if we've done a great job, usually they're creating new problems because they buy a company, or they're expanding geographically, or whatever else. And so the need, it ebbs and flows.
Mhm.
The degree of our involvement ebbs and flows, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, tends to be, we're their trusted advisor, like you said.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. One of the last points I want to ask about is, what key piece of information would you give to an owner that is looking to come on board with you? What things should they be considering before they go ahead and make the jump?
Do you have the stomach to really look critically at your business?
Mhm.
Um, I had one engagement this year. I'm trying to think if there were any more, but one engagement this year where the hard truth, as my team sees it,
Mhm.
about this client's business is that there are some pretty significant changes that need to be made. And one of them is at the leadership level.
Mhm.
And um, he want to hear that.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's, if you're at risk of defending
Mhm.
what you've always done,
Mhm.
don't bring in somebody to tell you what to do different.
Mhm.
You with me?
I like that.
So it's and I, I like the guy a lot, by the way, and I like his company. I think there's a lot of cool things going on in that business, but there is a fundamental issue, that I'm not sure I'm sure he doesn't agree,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure there's any amount of proof that would change his mind.
Mhm.
And I feel pretty confident we shared a lot of proof that should change his mind. But and so that's the deal. If you're gonna fight to keep the problems you have rather than get rid of them,
Mhm.
yeah, we're probably we're gonna make you very uncomfortable.
It's gonna get a little hot in the room.
Yes. Yep. And we're like, hey, you see her? She's a problem. Fire that one.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, no, we can't fire her. I'll be like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's what needs to happen. Right. So, anyway, I mean, and look, that happens, in most situations, where there's a profit problem, there's a people problem.
Mhm.
It's not the only problem, by the way. But in most situations where there's a profit problem, there's a people problem that comes along with it. And I'm not cold, man. I love people. I'm a huge softie. I cry at movies, man. But you have to do the right thing. And if the right thing for you got to do the right thing for your business. And the right thing for your business sometimes is the hard thing for the individual.
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes it difficult. You have as human beings and as people, we have attachments to certain people, individuals. They could have been there from the start. And I've heard stories, and you hear the stories of, man, I really like Joe, or Susan, or whoever, but I had to let them go. And then when I let them go, we were able to flourish. Right, things started to get
Yeah.
better.
And that is the thing. I mean, you hate to nobody likes firing people. If you like firing people, something's wrong with you. I don't want to work with you either, by the way. If you're a freak,
Right?
if you're a freak like that, you're
Yeah.
like, I can't wait to fire somebody. I'm like, nah, it's not for me. I don't do any of that lightly. You know what I mean? But how many times have you seen it, man, where somebody's like, oh, such and such a problem, such and such a problem. We got to work that out. We got to work through it. We got to work through it. And then eventually such and such quits or you fire such and such. You're like, what the hell were we doing?
Mhm.
Keeping that person for as long as we kept that person. You're like, yeah,
Mhm.
you were crazy. You knew it wasn't working.
Mhm.
And, I think we've all read it. We all kind of know that philosophically, but living it is really hard.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally agree. So, hey, if you can kind of set that aside, guys, for those out there listening, chat your guy.
That's it. That's what I love it. I agree.
Well, Chad, can you let everybody know where they can get in touch with you at?
Yeah, wellbuiltconsulting.com, WELLBUILT consulting.com. You can check out the book on Amazon. It's Well Built. And you can type in my last name, Prinky, which is not an easy one, Prinkey. But Well Built contractor book or construction book should probably land you there. We've sold coming up on 5,000 copies on Amazon since it's been out over the past 6 months, and so we're thrilled with the performance of that book. It's I was afraid it would suck.
Mhm.
Turns out it didn't suck, which is good. People really enjoy it, I think, in a very genuine way, which is very gratifying. So that's something to check out. I have a podcast. Podcast is the Morning Huddle Construction Show, and the morninghuddleconstructionshow.com, which is a long title but unmistakable. We create a platform for people who are creating positive change in the construction industry. So folks who are on there to talk about advancements, technologies, what they're doing to run their companies different. We have a CEO coming on our show tomorrow, actually, who's running a company that's won the best place to work in their market for the past 4 years in a row. And he's got a pretty compelling story. Like, you don't see a lot of construction companies winning that. So that'll be kind of cool to dig in, and that's the kind of stuff that we cover there. Dude, I write a newsletter. Let me keep going, man. I pump out. I think people follow me on LinkedIn is a good idea.
Mhm.
I do a lot of LinkedIn posting, and if you're in I reference the newsletter and I reference the podcast and I reference the book, and so that's kind of a nice waypoint. But also, if you just go to the website wellbuiltconsulting.com, that you'll be able to engage and learn a lot about our business there. And feel free to reach out, man. I think the phone number that's on there goes to me eventually, if you just want to talk. So you can give a call.
All right, amazing, great information. Thanks, Chad, so much for joining.
Thank you. Appreciate you, David. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Everyone, thanks so much for listening to this episode. Make sure you tune into the next one. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.